here's the quick setup of the story for a couple of you who might not know. We're in 1964, we're in the Bronx, St. Nicholas School, a Catholic school in the parish in the Bronx, a Bronx neighborhood that had very few African Americans, even an Irish and Italian neighborhood. Sister Aloysius, the kind of steely principal, suspects the fairly recently joined priest, Father Flynn, of having an improper relationship with Donald Muller, who is the school's first and only African American boy. He's named for his school. And she sets out to address this. It's a play that has that as its content, but a kind of a larger surround. I want to read something from Shanley that I think is interesting, just giving an insight of where it came from. Talking about, I went to a church school in the Bronx in the early 60s, and I had the Sisters of Charity, who were these very particular, very peculiar Victorian black bonds. I had an interesting and good experience there. It was a time of great certitude. It was a quieter time, and yet it was on the cusp of great change. There was a big sound coming from over the hill, and that sound was the 60s. It came crashing in shortly after that. At the time I wrote the play, again, it was a time of great certitude. It was the lead up to the invasion of Iraq, and I didn't feel certain. I felt doubtful. I thought I wanted to write something that shows what is lost and what is gained when the world changes. The first Sunday of Advent, which would be the first Sunday in December of 1964, was when the Mass in America would change greatly. The Catholic liturgy would go from the priest standing like this, with his back to the congregation, speaking in Latin, and he would turn around. And now he would say the Mass facing the congregation in English. And he would start to be preaching sermons that were more interpretive of the Scriptures and less just about delivering a kind of more dogmatic teaching. He was interacting. And the church itself shifted its definition. And this was a big thing. The church used to think of itself as a perfect society, a kind of a hierarchical perfect society. Only priests and nuns were said to be able to be holy. So it was this higher, and the phrase was a perfect society. And so, I'm going to put it this way. The new definition of church was the people of God. So a much more kind of democratic kind of thing was happening. And that was a big change to adjust to. And you see in the play, Father Flynn and Sister James, the younger religious figures in the play, kind of in a way embodying this new church. And Sister Aloysius, coming from the old church. One quick example, Sister James says, my students get to be able to talk to you. And she just looks at her as if it was not sensitive. And she said, they're children, they can talk to each other. It's more important they have a fierce moral argument. And that is her perspective. The other given is from his 21st century awareness that yes, there were things going on with priests and children, but I really emphasize this is not a play about the priest abuse scandal that has really come to light in the last 10 years or so. That's the content that he uses in his parable. So you need specific circumstances. Well, you got to be about something, the guy's got to have done something, somebody else in the life, every play's got that. The larger thing is, well, what happens when what you think you know might be different than what actually is to be known? What happens when the place of comfort from which you operate, when you're moved from the place of comfort from which you operate into another arena? What happens when certainty meets ambiguity? When your position of power and authority feels threatened? When someone who seems very different, who seems in a circumstance very different from what you can imagine, pleads for mercy? When your reliance on faith meets somebody else's comfort with doubt? What's gained? What's lost? What do you do when that happens? That's, I think, what is kind of the larger truth. How does your humanity live together with her or his humanity? Or doesn't? How do you reconceive your world, or how do you draw a line and say, no, I'm not going there. You either have to come to me or go apart. I think that's what's fun and alive in the arena of this play. And Shanley's very relentless in saying, he's not going to tell you what happened. And in fact, he asks you, why do you have to know? Ask yourself, why do you have to know so much what happened? Somebody said to me, I like it, a whodunit. When finally in the end, it's all inevitable and you figure it out. And I said, well, what's the whodunit? Or you don't know what he did or didn't do. You don't know what the who did or did not done. That, I think, is what's at work in this play.